What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pokemon Sword and Shield guide. I am honestly very surprised I've not made this guide before, but I was sitting here making my team for the Players Cup 3 qualifiers this week, and I thought it would be just a good idea to go over this for everybody, and that is EV training. And EV training is easily one of the most important things that you can learn when it comes to doing competitive Pokemon to any capacity. Whether it be like little more specific EV training where you're doing a lot of the calculations and stuff, or whether it just be like basic 252-252-4 training. So I'm going to go over all that today. That might sound like gibberish right now, but hopefully by the end of the video, everything will be cleared up. But if you are into Pokemon, if this is your first time here on the channel and you like Pokemon gaming stuff, make sure you are subscribed for more stuff like this in the future. But let's get into it. So I honestly think the best place to start when it comes to EV training is IVs, because a lot of people get them confused on what they are. So IVs are stats that the Pokemon are naturally born with. They're what they have at birth when you hatch them out of an egg or when you catch them in the wild. So I'll show you here on my Gigalith that I'm training. These are the Pokemon's IVs. Notice they say best, best, decent, best, very good, and best. These are what they are born with, much like they are born with a nature and an ability. So these are things that actually can be changed. If the Pokemon is level 100, you can take it over to the battle tower and hyper train it using bottle caps. However, it is worth noting that with IVs, you can't decrease them. So for example, Gigalith is really good on a Trick Room team. You might want a 0-speed Gigalith or a no-good speed Gigalith. You would have to breed one. You cannot have anything that reverts an IV stat. It would be really nice if they added like broken bottle caps or something to the game, so you would be able to actually reverse it, especially if you got a shiny like this one. Is the only reason I'm using it is because it's shiny and I want to use it on a team. So you can increase a Pokemon's IVs, you cannot decrease a Pokemon's IVs. That's why people spend hours and hours and hours breeding the perfect competitive Pokemon. EVs, however, are a Pokemon's effort value. This means that they give additional stats to whatever they are in. So a Pokemon can have up to 510 EVs. However, you can only actually use 508 because it takes 4 EVs to get 1 additional stat point. So you end up not using the additional 2, so you only end up actually using the 508 actual EVs that you're using. And they can be acclimated by, you can have a max of 252 in any stat. So if you look here at my Gigalith, I have it maxed out in HP. I just started training it. It's maxed out in HP. That way it has 252 EVs right there. It is very clear it has 252 EVs. That is the max any stat can have. EVs are basically meant to make Pokemon as powerful as they can be. For example, I'm going to bring us over here to Pokemon Showdown, and I'm going to show you 2 Pokemon that one doesn't have EV training at all and the other does. So here, I have 2 Gigalith here, and the first one here has no EV training at all. It's a level 100 Gigalith with no EV training. So we're going to look at its HP. It's 311, and its attack stat at 306. Now we're going to go over here to this other Gigalith. As you can see, it's maxed out in HP and attack, and it has 374 HP and 369 attack. It has almost 60 more stat points in that category because of the EV training. So there are 2 different ways that you can actually get EVs effectively. The first being vitamins. Vitamins are very easy to get. They're just a little expensive, but there are tons of money-making guides out there that you can use in order to get vitamins. And then there's also battling wild Pokemon, because each wild Pokemon that you battle will give you 1 EV point upon beating it, whether you're using the Pokemon that you're training or if that Pokemon is in your party and gains experience with the EXP share. So if you're getting into EV training, the first thing to do is just make sure your Pokemon doesn't have any. I recommend just using a fresh Pokemon, like hatching something, and then it'll have 0 EVs to start. But if you want to EV train a Pokemon that you've been playing with throughout your entire game, then you could just use berries that will decrease the stats. Each berry will decrease by 10 EVs per stat. So you just got to find the right berry for whatever stat you're trying to decrease, and then eat X amount of those berries till you go back to 0. Like I said, it's just way easier to breed a whole new Pokemon if you're going to do this for competitive play. It's just incredibly easier to just go hatch a new Pokemon and use that instead of trying to find enough berries to reset the stats on a Pokemon. So the fastest way to actually train an EV is vitamins. Vitamins are just incredibly fast. You can just go buy them and immediately pop them on a Pokemon and boom, you have the EV stats that you're looking for. However, they are expensive. like I said, they are very expensive, and they give 10 EVs per vitamin. So you're not always going to want to use these depending on the situation that you're going into. If you're trying to break it down and get X amount of EV points and X stat, then you're probably want to go the battling route. However, with things that you're maxing out, like maxing out your HP stat on a Gigalith, this is a very useful method. All you got to do is buy 26 because they give 10 each. So to get that 252, you have to actually give the Pokemon 26 of that vitamin. So, for example, HP up gives HP points, protein gives attack, iron gives defense, calcium gives special attack, zinc gives special defense, and carbos gives speed. So these are very, very useful for you to use if you're just trying to max out a stat super easily. You can train whole Pokemon up this way. For example, certain Pokemon are only going to want 252 to 252 4. So you're going to be, depending on the Pokemon, training them in different ways. Another place that you can get vitamins is over here in Hammerlock. If you go over here, takes a second to fly over there. You're going to go into the Pokemon Center here. Wow, this is actually taking a while. Okay, go to the Pokemon Center here. And you're going to come over here. There's a Battle Point trainer or a Battle Point vendor. And you can buy vitamins here as well for 2 battle points a piece. This is also very costly, but it is another option. Also, I think I forgot to mention, you can buy vitamins with the Pokédollars at the Pokemon Center over in Winden as well. There's the 2 options. You got the Pokédollar option and you have the Battle Point option if you go to Hammerlock. So a couple different options depending on what currency you have more of. Next, we're going to move on to the wild battle method. So I'm going to run into a Squovit here with my Gigalith. And this is the other method of actually getting EVs. So each Pokemon gives a different stat point. For example, the Squovit I'm battling right now gives HP. This won't affect my Gigalith because it's already maxed out on HP, but it gives HP if you take it out. You will get 1 EV point per knockout. Or any Pokemon in your party that gets experience for this battle will also get the EV point. This method is super useful if you want to break it down to certain calculations. I'm going to bring us back over to Showdown and show off a Gigalith that I'm using in this team and show you the stat breakdown of that. So this is a Gigalith that I'm using on my team, and I've broken up the EVs a little differently than the standard 252, 252, 4 that you see so many people use. In this certain Gigalith that I'm using here, I'm using 252 health, 244 attack, I'm using 4 defense as well as 4 special defense and 4 speed. This means that I'm going to have to go about a different method of getting these additional stats here because of the fact that it is just 4. I can't use a vitamin because that puts me at 10. So there's different ways you have to go about training depending on how you're going to diversify your EV spreads. Also, I could use a couple different methods for the 244. Rather than battling 244 of whatever Pokemon gives the attack stat, I could just simply use 24 vitamins that would put me at 240 and then battle 4 of the Pokemon that give the attack stat, so I get exactly the number that I'm looking for. So the wild encounter method is useful because of the fact you can really get it down to the exact number of EVs that you want, as well as the fact that you can train multiple Pokemon at a time. Depending on the team you're running, it's very beneficial. I'm going to go back to Hammerlock here and show another way that's really nice for training EVs. If we go back to that Battle Point vendor that I talked about earlier with the vitamins, you can also buy anklets. These different anklets are going to provide additional EVs. You're going to get 8 additional EVs per wild encounter knockout whenever a Pokemon is holding these. So, for example, if I wanted to get my HP up on my Gigalith, I could give it whichever the HP bracer is. The power weight is the HP one. I could go battle a ton of Squovit, and I would, instead of getting 1, get 9 per knockout. Now, this doesn't transfer to other Pokemon in your party. You will have to have each Pokemon in your party equipped with one of these if you want to get the additional EV stats on other party members. So these are really nice for EV training. You can buy them for 10 battle points. Really, really super nice. The power bracers for attack, the power belts for defense, power lenses for special attack, power band is for special defense, power anklet is for speed, and like I said, the power weight is for the HP stat. Another fantastic method of EV training is Pokaris. Pokaris is incredibly useful when you're trying to EV train Pokemon, because a Pokemon with Pokaris is going to get double the amount of EVs from a wild encounter knockout. So, for example, if my Gigalith had Pokaris and I was training it on Squovits, If I didn't have the power weight equipped, I would get 2 EV points. However, if I had the power weight equipped and I had Pokaris, I would then get 18 EV points because I would get 9 originally from having the power weight and knocking the Pokemon out. And then you times that by 2 with your Pokaris and you get 18. So it's also a really, really helpful method to try and get Pokaris on your Pokemon when you're EV training. The only thing with Pokaris is it's extremely freaking rare. Like really, really rare. So if you do happen to come across it, you do want to try and spread that to as many Pokemon as possible. All you got to do that is have the Pokaris Pokemon in your party, do some battles, and it's likely to spread to the rest of your party. Like I said, though, it is incredibly rare for you to find these and actually be able to spread it. So what I recommend doing is finding somebody that is like has an abundance of them and have them trade it to you and spread it to a bunch of your Pokemon and keep them in a box. Like, for example, my entire box here has Pokaris. This is just so I can spread it to other Pokemon and trade them. I just spread it to a bunch of my Breedjecks that I got from shiny hunting, and now I have an abundance of Pokaris Pokemon ready to use anytime I need them. So there you go, guys. I hope this video was really helpful in showing you exactly how to go about getting EV stats. I will have in the description below a link to all the wild Pokemon and the different stats they give based on beating them, because it would just take a long time to do that in this video, and it's very easy to just read it and move on. So I'm not going to hold you here any longer. That is the basics of getting into EV training in Pokemon Sword and Shield. If you enjoyed this video, found it to be entertaining and helpful, be sure you leave a like and smash the subscribe button for more videos like this in the future. Share it with your friends. Grow the community here on the channel. Speaking of community, we got a Discord. Check that out. People over there playing Pokemon, Animal Crossing, stuff like that. Also, check me out on Twitch, TikTok, and all my other social medias if you're interested in keeping up with me, this channel, the stream, anything like that. But, like I said, that's it for this video. Hope you found it entertaining and helpful, and I'll see you all in the next video.